the B2B space is getting, the influencer marketing that you would have seen on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat. So I got that media background from Pinterest and whatnot. I'm bringing it here, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm repping John Barrows, Kevin Dorsey, Morgan Ingram, Devin Reed. It's some awesome big hitters in our space. So yeah, it's been fun.
Aneesh, so good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, boys.
First question I ask every guest, you're no different. Give us the spill, give us the lowdown. What are you doing now? Work backwards, not to the time you were wearing nappies, but when you actually were like making money. Tell us the career path.
Yeah. So most recently, I started my own business. I left Pinterest June 2022, started my own, let's call it fractional consulting business. So I'm a fractional revenue accelerator. That's what my new tagline is. I got two halves of my business. One half, I'm doing like CRO type of work for existing businesses who want to scale up, standard stuff. And then the other half is probably like more interesting is I've turned into like the Rich Paul for LinkedIn sales creators. It's amazing. The B2B space is getting the influencer marketing that you would have seen on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat. So I got that media background from Pinterest and whatnot. I'm bringing it here, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm repping John Barrows, Kevin Dorsey, Morgan Ingram, Devin Reed. It's some awesome big hitters in our space. Yeah, it's been fun.
All the cool cats.
They're fantastic. I think they've all been on the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely, man. We know them well. So this just got me curious. Like, we can talk about the normal sales, as you say, the CRO, BAU stuff. That's cool. But it's something I feel like our audience have got to know really well. What is this thing you're doing? You just told me you had a fancy title for it, Revenue Accelerator. What's that about, man? What is it? Give me the details that's under.
Yeah, so I had to find a title that fit both things that I do. Like on one side, it's like talent manager, business manager for creators. And then on the other side, people are bringing me in to figure out RevOps, marketing, and sales, because you need all three of those things to talk to each other in 2024. Either if you're operating in silos still, best of luck to you. It's one of those situations. So in both scenarios, whether you're a creator or a $16 million company that wants to get to 20, 25, 30 mil, I'm coming in to hit up all three of those areas, whether it's sales, marketing, community. I'm building out the modern day revenue engine by factoring all three of those things. So that's where I'm like, it's not really a CRO, because CRO is if you look at it culturally, a CRO is sales focused. But because I do sales, marketing, and community, I thought revenue acceleration was more appropriate for that title or for what I'm doing. So I'm the only one, because I made it up. That's what it is. But I feel like I'm onto something a little bit more interesting, because it's beyond just sales now.
Yeah. The concept you come up with is amazing. And I've seen plenty of people doing influencer marketing, Facebooks and TikToks and YouTube and whole companies coming up around wrapping them and helping them get endorsements and opportunities. But you are definitely the first person I have met who's talking about, firstly, melding you with the chief revenue officer job and the way you approach companies, but also helping people in like B2B and LinkedIn community realize the value of what they. How'd you come up with that? Like, deep dive a little bit more. What leads you down that path, and what are some of the key things you're doing?
I think if you look at all my past experiences with the media sales, helping build up Rev Genius, and then getting more involved, like when you're a media salesperson, you're really understanding if you're good, the marketing landscape, how it works. You speak like a VP of marketing, CMO, you need to learn that language. I studied marketing like I was a marketer to be effective as a Pinterest sales rep or Flip sales rep in all the companies I worked at. So when I bring that knowledge over to folks they don't understand the media side of things, right? Like if you're a LinkedIn creator, we're a little bit behind evolution wise, like an Instagram, Meta, TikTok, all these people, we're behind. They're all very advanced. They have the D2C mass marketing model, all those things. Nobody's looked at LinkedIn as a means to be an influencer. It's always been, I want a job. Maybe I want to learn something. But rarely are these people seen in the same light as an influencer. I put that in quotes, on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. So for me, what led me to this journey, like I was always the community ops guy. I got into Katie's community to manage it. Next thing he's like, shit, you can sell. What? I thought you were a community guy. I'm like, no, I've closed $50 million in sales. I've been a top rep. I happen to fall into Rev Genius community stuff. I was actually the opposite. But on LinkedIn, I messed up. This is where I messed up. I pigeonholed myself. Everyone thought I was a community ops person without any other background or knowledge. It just so happened that I'm actually a sales guy who understands marketing and community. So that's the evolution. I started with KD. He had some folks reach out saying, KD, should we do some partnerships? I was like, KD, I can probably handle these conversations for you because I do this for a living at Pinterest. I close 6, 7 figure deals on media. You are the media, you are the product. Put together a package, and we work with Chili Piper, Vidyard, Clary, the list goes on. And now it's KD told John Barrows, right? And then I started talking to Morgan Ingram, and one thing just led to another. They're like, what did you do with KD? What was that? What? And then one thing led to another, and here we are.
So, obviously, getting really curious here, but you're writing the playbook as you're doing this too, right? Like you're bringing in some of the models from different platforms to LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
For someone like me, you're right, like LinkedIn for me has always been like sharing of corporate jargon and job search and whatnot. So when I see someone having those fancy badges, top voice, and is this where you're leading to, or is that just a very small part of this overall picture? Can you break that down a bit more for me?
Yeah, so having a top voice is the equivalent of being verified in Instagram 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Okay.
Now you can buy it. Everyone can do it. But think 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever, 10 years ago, too long. 5 years ago, when you saw that blue check mark, you're like, oh, that's a person of authority, regardless of what it is. The top voice is that version because it's peer-to-peer accredited. Teams from LinkedIn, there's a whole team dedicated to this to be like, who gets the most engagement? Who gets the most traction? Who's hitting the most channels? Are they doing webinars? Are they doing posts? Are they in publications? Are they actually doing the things that they say that they're doing because they can validate things? So all those things have been like peer-to-peer vetted. So those who know this space are like, oh, this is a top sales voice. Oh, this is a top engineering voice. Oh, this is a top whatever voice. So for those who don't see that part, because 9 times out of 10, when you're on LinkedIn, you're looking for a job or you're networking for some career thing. That's how it started. Now it's evolved into a social, like, again, we're 5, 7 years behind the rest.
Yeah.
So the social elements kicked in. The learning piece is kicked in, which means the attention piece has kicked in. And this is where I'm talking to brands now, like the part that's not been done, and I'll announce it on this podcast first time. I'm now going after my bread and butter is actually selling to direct-to-consumer brand. That's my media background.
Right.
I want to bring those guys here to LinkedIn to be like, hey, Adidas, all 4 of my creators would love to rock your fit as work-from-home comfort clothes. Why not? Why not have that conversation? No one else has done it. Hey, Delta Airlines, you want to be the official travel partner for LinkedIn creators? Hook some of my guys up with some free flights and let's go, right? So those are loose examples, but these people have demonstrated enough credibility to their audiences to be trustworthy and to be like looked up to 100%.
Yeah, gotcha. Credibility is going to be there, right? That's
100%.
Yeah. But man, what about gamification? Because I must admit, I'm not clued up, and I'm going to speak on Sean's behalf. We're not really like social media gurus by any stretch of imagination. But I've gathered that on YouTube and platforms like that, you can buy audience base, right? Like you can do shit. How long before that also then arrives in LinkedIn with some of the stuff you're doing? Because if I can buy followers and I can have that influence over followers, because then there is money to be thrown around. Like, when does that all get wonky?
It's already happened. So LinkedIn's activated a feature where creators can have, so let's say I work for Nike, or let's stick with the Adidas example. Let's say I work for Adidas and John Barrows does a post for Adidas. That could be branded now as sponsored by Adidas. And they can put paid dollars to amplify that post as a paid partnership now. So LinkedIn is doubling down in your ability to create for sure and make money being a creator. Them as a company have started doing it. So again, the evolution piece, they're trying to get lock in step to have more creators put out better content on the platform so that the average user stays and comes back to LinkedIn even more. That's where they're going with this.
Man, a lot of people listening in or tuning into this will be going, cool, Aneesh, I love everything you're speaking about, but I want this LinkedIn to be this sacred platform where I just go exchange valuable information that helps me elevate my career or helps me find a job. Because I think from what I know a little about LinkedIn, most people on there are lurkers, right? They're not actively participating. They're not really sharing anything. There'll be that bunch. What would your message be to them?
The real thing is this is coming whether you like it or not. Like, it's already there. They
This is
made
everywhere.
they made a platform decision. Now, understand the currency of value is different than what you're seeing on an Instagram or somewhere else, which is purely entertainment. Most influencers on LinkedIn and creators, this is why it's so different, are coming in as authorities in their space because of some sort of track record, some sort of advice they can give. They're credible not because they're good looking or entertaining. Maybe they have that, sure. They're credible because
David's
they
going to
know their
disagree with
stuff.
that, man.
They know their stuff, right? And that's the piece where I feel like that's the piece where when you know your stuff and you've got that credibility, like people are like, oh, I actually tried Katie's 5 framework, whatever. I actually tried this checklist to build a scorecard. That's where they're getting the followers from. So that exchange
Gotcha.
of who I can follow to be entertained, to be educational, that whole higher level conversation, that's not going anywhere. People are just finally getting paid for what they bring to the table.
Yeah. I'm going to ride the emotional curve with you here, Aneesh. So my first part was resentment, danger. I've got past that.
I'm doing my job.
Like,
I'm doing my job. Yeah.
yeah, Brandon, you know how to sell. So now you got people like Sean and I going, fuck yeah, there's something here. Like, we've got better for brand. We don't know what that is yet. We've done some things. We're just not good at really promoting ourselves. And then these other people who are listening to this will be thinking much the same. So what happens next? What does one need to be prepped up for? And what are they getting into?
So if I were to say 5 things that you need to do, number 1, hire me and I'll take care of the other 4. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just one thing, I got you. But in the event you're not there yet, the big pieces that brands are looking for right now, it goes deep. Although we're 5-6 years behind the other platforms, these brands have marketers who understand the whole ecosystem. So they've learned from the pitfalls of awareness marketing only on Instagram. So they're bringing that knowledge here. They're like, look, we're not just going to pay for impressions, people, unless that's the sole thing they're doing. They have to see the ability to connect someone who's now aware to the problem you solve in consideration, and then downright to convert for whatever product, trial, demo, purchase, whatever. So creators need to be aware of how to have marketing level conversations, because if you cannot defend, I have 100,000 impressions, they're like, I don't give a shit. They don't care about impressions as like it's not a thing anymore. Sometimes it carries weight. It's part of the equation, but it's not all of it. So you need to be able to come up with ideas and concepts that drive people down the purchase funnel. So if you're thinking about becoming a creator on LinkedIn, save yourself some time and just start thinking about this ahead of time. How can you go and create multiple ways to connect with your audience besides just promoted LinkedIn posts?
Man, so many questions are coming to my head. What about conflict of interest? Because if I'm already working for somebody, especially in this part of the world, my contract ties me down pretty hard, right? There's things I can say, there's things I can't say, even though my personal brand has probably become bigger than the enterprise or corporate brand that I rep.
Right.
How do you navigate that situation?
Solid question, man. It comes up all the time. 2 things come up quite a bit. It's, if I work for Pinterest, can I be a spokesperson for Facebook, Instagram? Probably not. It's a bad idea. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, are you at that level of being a creator where you can dictate terms for your life, right? This is now your full-time thing. Are you ready to take that leap? Because if you're not, there's still plenty of brands out there that you can sell to that don't conflict with what you do. So if I work for a certain company that's in the accounting space, fine, I probably shouldn't promote competitive accounting software, even though I sell to audience whatever.
Yeah.
But guess every other product out there does sell to the same space. Fine, I can work with them. If you have a no moonlighting thing anyways, if that's beyond creator. If your contract says you cannot moonlight, like in the States, they call it moonlighting, you can't have a part-time job or whatever, you probably shouldn't be posting content anyways at the risk of getting in trouble. Forget the paid side of things. So the good news is more and more brands are actually reaping the benefits of their employees getting bigger personal brands.
Sean's a legal guy here, but even if with the employment contract clauses, which ours are quite tight, going forward, if I do have a personal brand and I'm about to switch to another, that's probably one of the first things I'm going to negotiate, right? I'm like, I need to be able to now do that as my thing. You got to be cool with it. It can't be anything that's obviously competing with the core brand, to your point, like accounting.
Of course.
So are you seeing that already? Are you seeing people when they're shifting?
I can't go into details, but yes, I know for a fact that multiple creators that I know and work with have negotiated it into their future contract terms, but also it's a benefit. It's actually a negotiating tool to get a higher salary, because when you become 100,000 plus follower or 50,000 plus follower on LinkedIn, this is not the same. It's not the same on other channels. But on LinkedIn, if you clear the 50,000 mark, imagine this. Imagine I come on as a director to your company and I have 50,000 plus followers. When I make a post for I'm hiring for this thing, I'm overwhelmed with options. When I want to say I need an expert in AI to come in and configure this automation, I'm overwhelmed with resources. When you can get that kind of attention with a post, that's worth a lot to the company. And then if you take it a step further, if I'm posting content all the time, people are checking my profile, be like, oh, this Aneesh guy seems legit. Where does he work? Let me click on that company page. Now you're a blessing to your marketing team. It really does come down to how strategic you are about it. But personal brands, if you're dumb about it and you're like, I'm going to go to my number one competitor and light them up, that's a problem. That you'll have a bigger issue than up here than legal, right? He's right here. You can talk to him anytime. Well, I'll follow you. So now you have two. There you go. So it's good.
I'll unfollow and you back down to one.
Yeah.
Oh no, cause drama.
Yeah.
So the best thing I can suggest, like, you got to categorize your topic. Everyone thinks that you need to just talk about the technical side. Here's 10 tips to do this. Here's 5 ways to do that. What I've seen happen a lot is you break it down into what I had an Instagram and content coach actually teach me this. So it's called the 4S method. And if anybody wants to know where I learned it, I'm happy to give them the link and give credit where it's due. But it's the 4S method. So the first S, you take all the content you have, you want to break it down to these 4 S's. The first S is solve content. The solve content is where you show people how to solve a specific problem, regardless of what industry you're in. Here's 5 ways to cold call better, blah, 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 whatever. The second one is supply. This is where you give people in your audience some sort of asset. Like, here's my ebook, sign up for it. Or you see this stuff all the time. Give me your email and I'll give you this, right? You're giving free value in tangible assets that people can download, click through, go through. You're making that touch point. The third S is what you call sell. Now, a lot of people think this is me selling to you. No, you're selling people on your transformation, right? You're selling people on your story. And then the fourth one is social. This is the part people miss the most. This is where you talk about your values, the type of car you like to drive, what you like to do with your partner at dinner time. This is where people get to be like, oh, Aneesh is a nerd. I'm a nerd. Great. Aneesh likes basketball. I like basketball. You have to have that familiarity on the social side of things. People forget that this is social media, not just media. So if you hit all 4 of those and you categorize your content and you test to see what works, what doesn't, Now you have a structure you can follow right away instead of saying, today I'm going to post about my coffee mug. Tomorrow I'm going to post about my job. And then it's just, you don't have a structure to follow. But if you follow the 4S method, at least you got something to start testing.
All I heard was if you like basketball, you got a shot, which we
But
do.
there you go.
We both
There
love
you go.
basketball, man. So
Now, it's funny
got
that
ways.
that's what stuck for you, right?
So you're obviously visionary when it comes to the space, and you already said that you probably are the first, and hopefully we now got this on record on this pod. Where do you see the future going? Because AI is at play. There's already, I know people are using that for comments, and there's a lot of people getting round up over that. Like, where do you see this whole space moving to fast track 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Because you've seen it with other platforms.
Yeah. The part I'm more concerned about, there's certain elements of the future where more people jump on and they want to get paid for this, paid for that. It actually makes it harder for real creators who are actually good at what they do to get the partnerships they deserve, and the partnerships that it's better for the brand too if they're connected with the right creator. So there is going to be, it's like the law of diffusion, right? There's going to be all these people that jump in now who are beyond your early adopters and whatnot. They're all going to come in and be like, I want to go make money on LinkedIn because it's too hard on YouTube and Instagram. That's played out. I'm going to go create on LinkedIn. And now that they've enabled that paid post stuff, it's going to happen more and more. So it's really important to make sure quality control is where we need to see this thing going for the next 3, 4 years, even sooner than that. Because if we're not vetting who's posting what, and that's when the concern comes from. LinkedIn's going to lose its vibe of edutainment. It's a mix. Am I entertained? Am I learning stuff? Is this where I want to come for credible, like technical knowledge? That quality control needs to be maintained and managed by LinkedIn at all times, but also the creators that are posting content, for sure.
I'm mindful, man. I'm peppering you with endless amount of questions here, but
it's all good. That's the point.
Yeah. If I'm that brand, I don't know, whatever brand, like we've got a company, it's doing okay. We now go, okay, Aneesh is making a lot of sense. I want to get hooked up with some LinkedIn creators. What should I look at as a CEO founder? What am I looking for? What should be the output? What should be the ROI? What mindset do I need to go into this conversation?
Yeah, you got a few things, right? There's consistency. So how consistently is the person posting or putting out content? Then you got concepts like your basic engagement rates. What is the engagement rate? So if somebody has 100,000 followers, but they have 2 likes on their post, there's a problem. You don't want to be with that creator always. Now there's one-offs, algorithm changes and all that, but you got to look at data over a period of time. But then you also got to make sure that the brand fits the narrative of the creator. So if a creator is known for sales, leadership, development, and that's their thing, you probably shouldn't go in with something that's the opposite of that. Just because somebody has 100,000 followers, that's where the intentional piece is super important. So I have seen this all the time. Like I rep the 4 creators. I see all their inboxes. The number of people is like, hey, so-and-so, we're going to give you a couple grand to just make a post. You have all these creators that could be making thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm talking big money if they just accepted these transactional deals. Give me 4 grand here or 5 grand here. That's rent for a lot of people, right? For one post. So you're hitting a stage where we're actually saying no to a lot of that because it's going to kill the platform.
Yeah.
It's going to kill the brand. You're just going to be seen as, oh, you'll just take money for anything. So the only deals we do for all 4, and this is like a rule I have before I even onboard with them, I'm not going to be the transactional guy that gets you a $2,500 pop. We're going to do strategic partnerships with brands that your audience knows and believe, yes, this is exactly what we need. We need someone who's going to filter out the crap. And because I'm also turning away my money. I get paid when they get paid. But I don't care about that. If I take small dollars here, I lose out on everything in the future anyways. So you need that quality control is so important because who you choose to align with, are they financially motivated or do they actually care about your brand? That's the key. So a CMO, a C-suite, the founder, to answer your question, needs to be able to test that bullshit barometer real quick. Are you really just here for the numbers, or are you here to help me see my brand grow over a period of time?
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. And actually, you also then linked it back to the fact this is social media. So obviously keep everything in context. But do you see this expanding? It's going to be more than that, though, right? These people are almost becoming brand ambassadors. So speaking gigs, road shows, there'll be surely a bunch of other things that pop out of this too. It's not just limited to LinkedIn platform.
Oh, no, exactly. So a lot of these folks, creators, have multi-channels, right? So they have, let's call it, a couple 100,000 followers. Then they have a newsletter. Then they have a podcast. Then they have a speaking engagement. So in the sales world, we call it SKO season, sales kickoff seasons. All my creators have SKO gigs, every single one. They're being invited to speak because they're authorities in the space. They're the ones who test and learn all the new concepts. They break a lot of shit before they see what works, and then they tell everybody what works. That's why they are who they are. So those are the folks that you're right. It's already become omni-channel and multi-channel simultaneously.
Man, what are you most excited about?
This is going to be very lucrative for your boy. I'm just excited to see so many hardworking folks, and then this is going to be like the most cliche response after that stupid response.
Yeah.
It's just good to see creators like Devin, Morgan, Katie, and John, who've given so much to the LinkedIn community, never knowing that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
They've been posting daily for years.
Like intent.
Not knowing that this was going to become a partnership with this person and speaking this. They were truly just saying, here's how you can do some shit. And now it's good to see that these people are getting the rewards that they so truly deserve. They're really good people, but they're also very good at what they do technically. Like, it's not just attention. They're doing really good things for the craft. So it's nice to see them win.
Yeah, I agree, man. They're all great humans and they add a ton of value every time they show up on the platform, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, this is my favorite question. I'm going to ask you the same. Since you're a pioneer in this space and you're doing some cool things, you've already done some cool things, Aneesh, but when you do decide to hang up your boots, what do you want to be known for? What does Aneesh want to be known for?
Damn. I think for me, I want to be the guy that could build up. I want to be the guy that could build up other people who are already doing such phenomenal things. My dream, I'm not joking when I think about these creators, is like John, Katie, Morgan, and Devin are on the biggest stage. They're all talking. They're having the panel thing. And I'm there in the crowd. And I'm like, I'm the common thing between all four of those people.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. So if I can be the person, like everyone trusts Katie and all these creators, they trust everybody. But I'm the guy they trust when they're talking to their brands and their communities. Like, for me to have that value to them, it means the world. Honestly, I actually envy, I love that more than anything.
So you're coming from a good space. Like, I can see throughout the chat, even though it's a heavy question and you put on the spot, you're doing this for all the right reasons. So obviously we wish you all the best, and I'm sure it's gonna go on fire, man. So I'd love to take you through a quick fire round. No more heavy stuff. Easy. One word answers. One answer, right? No multiple choice. None of that shit.
Okay.
Favorite sports team? I think I know, but let's hear from you, man.
Toronto Raptors. We're rocking this stuff.
2019, one and only.
Best time.
What about favorite music genre? What do you listen to? I know you're in LA at the moment, but what's like different? Does it change when you change the scenery, or do you have a go-to?
I got mood. This sucks. I have so many answers. Hip hop, R&B, Bollywood.
Yeah, we've had that before. It's like Bhangra, like hip hop at night, and R&B by day.
The fusion of all three of those is amazing.
Fusion. Nice.
Like Bollywood fusion, Bhangra fusion. That's where it's at, man. I love that.
Nice. What about this one? Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, so I'm a huge nerd. Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Nobody knows this about me. I know I was single for a long time, boys. I know a lot about
Middle-earth. That's not a bad thing.
No, I bet because I'm like a Lord of the Rings nerd.
But you're talking to the right people. Everyone in New Zealand loves it. I'm probably one of the only few people who have not seen it. So
you're joking.
The Hobbit thing is, I've had so many conferences. I've just literally.
At least you tried. At least you tried.
Yeah, exactly. The
movie's about you. Like, you could be a hero. Come on.
Man, maybe that's what we're leading up to this. Right? That can be the image. I don't know how you market that, but sure, go for it.
We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
What about favorite place to visit?
That I've been to or I want to go?
Oh, man, this one's a twofold question. The one you like to get to and the one you haven't been to on your bucket list.
I definitely want to go to Croatia. Seen a lot of fun, amazing things, beautiful place. My favorite place I've been to, Positano in Italy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, freaking gorgeous.
And I thought you said New Zealand on back of the whole Lord of the Rings. I was really just found hype news.
The movie ends.
Man, maybe this is what we're hoping one day. We're talking about brand and talking about this. We've been our go-to question, one that we always said that we're going to do in every episode was peanut butter. So if anyone on the brands is listening to this, happy to read peanut butter.
I'm going to email Kraft right now.
Oh,
Let's
you
do
make
it.
some calls, man. I know you got us. So if you were given your last meal, Aneesh, crunchy in your right hand and smooth in your left, you only had to pick one. Last meal, bro. What are you going to take?
I'm going smooth.
I want gold.
Smooth, guys. So smooth. All right. Like, I thought you might have gone crunchy away, but
No, I
stick to your
sorry to
goals.
disappoint you. I'm sorry. That's where I disappointed you today. I thought you was one of us, man. I thought you was
Yeah,
one of
exactly. Oh, man, this has been fun. Thanks for coming on and thanks for sharing your insight, man. This is a new space. This is interesting. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I had a blast. Appreciate y'all.